Well, hello Instagrammers and YouTubers alike, and welcome back to Retro Direction, and this is Michael, your host for this evening, and we have yet another review. And now, first of all, I don't know how retro this game is, but I'm actually reviewing something on the PS3, believe it or not. But the PS3, I think, is quite a few years old now, and this game is too. So I thought it's kind of retro, so for a little bit of variety, I think. Now, as you know, if you've tuned in before, I review mainly Sony PlayStation and Sega Saturn, and of course I've got other retro game systems that I use as well. But I thought tonight, why not try something on the PS3? Now I've chosen a good old favourite of mine, which I always think it's a go-to of mine when I switch my PS3 on, and it's none other than Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2. Now, first of all, on with the show. Now, when you first start the game, there are two difficulty levels: Acolyte, which is the easy mode, and Warrior. As you complete the game multiple times, you unlock different difficulty levels, which are insanely hard, but they are there to cater for the hardcore among us, and I am not one of them. So we're going to do Acolyte. Now, this is Chapter Challenge. It unlocks when you complete the game the first time on the PS3, because compared to the 360 version, you don't get a New Game Plus, where you can play through the entire game again with all of your powered up weapons and abilities from your original playthrough. And you can keep doing that as well, so the more you play through it, the more you get powered up and you become just a complete unstoppable force of nature. But anyway, this is the PS3 version, and it's a little bit different and better in quite a few respects, and I will go through those as I review. Yes, my reflection again. Ciao ciao. Che bel tipo. Handsome devil. Anyway. Right, first of all, the opening level is set in Sky City, Tokyo. Yeah, the first few levels, basically you'll play through this town that's built high in the sky, atop some brilliant scaffoldings, and it overlooks the sprawling city of Tokyo. Now, there is a storyline which I won't spoil for you. So, for the uninitiated, I will be giving no spoilers. I'll just tell you what the game offers. Now, first of all, the combat is the important thing. So, if it's a game about ninjas, you're going to want to know how it plays and how you fight. Well, it's brilliant. Now, first of all, you start the level with, you start the game with only one weapon. You start with your sword, and it's at level 1. So you only get a handful of moves, which are quite generous. I mean, you can still, fight using a good variety of sword swipes and slashes, and it's pretty good. As you progress further into the game, you gather orbs that you get from your enemies when you kill them, and you can spend them to upgrade weapons or buy items from Muramasa's shop. Muramasa is an old man. He's a friend of yours. A very nice old fellow. And he'll sort of equip you with the best items. So let's start with... now, yeah, as you play through the game, you unlock different weapons, like this bladed nunchaku, the scythe. I think this is called the Kurigasama or something. It's a sickle on the end of a long chain with a weight at one end. Then you get the hand and foot claws, you get a staff, and the twin blades, which I always go to. This huge, massive thing is for bosses mainly. I think it's only useful against bosses because it really does a heck of a lot of damage. Tonfas, police nightsticks, and that's pretty much it. So for the opening level, we'll use the twin katanas. Sorry about that, the scenery got in the way there, but don't worry, you'll see some more in a minute. I'll skip the story so I don't spoil that for anyone. Now, first of all, as you can see, the combat is exhilarating. You get hundreds of moves, and I mean hundreds of them, and each weapon has dozens of different moves. Now, don't let that put you off. It's not a chore to learn them, and you really do pick them up as you go along. You don't have to sit there memorizing them. You just pick them up as you play, and the more you play, the more you learn. You start off using the ones that you're comfortable with, and then the rest you just unlock and you learn about as you go along. Now, it did look like I was button mashing. I can assure you I wasn't. This game is not for button mashers. Button mashing will only get you so far. In the Ninja Gaiden franchise, button mashing has very short legs, so don't think you can get by using it, because I can promise you, you won't. You'll be destroyed. Now, first of all, you don't start as an underpowered weakling. You start as a badass ninja, because Ryu Hayabusa, of Dead or Alive fame, is the world's most powerful ninja. So you start off being him, somebody who can wreck things. Just that you're fighting against not only other ninja clans with skilled ninjas, because they're certainly no pushovers. No match for you, but still no pushovers. They'll give you a hard time, especially because they pounce on you all at the same time. But you're fighting against demons and hideous creatures of unbelievable proportions sometimes. Anyway, look, there you go. Oh, go away. Now, first of all, I'll try not to make this review lengthy, because I could go on for ages about this game and how much I like it and why you should play it. First of all, save points are generous. Ninja Gaiden 2 was made, supposedly, more accessible to novices, because the criticism levelled at the first one was that it was too hard, and it put quite a lot of people off, so they didn't play it. So Tecmo listened to their fans and thought, okay, let's make it a bit more accessible to the casual gamer. But it's still hard. That's the problem. In particular, the Xbox 360 version. Anyway, when you approach a save point, notice my health bar, there's a bit missing. Sometimes there'll be more missing, depending on how much damage you take. But that damage, where your health bar's red, is permanent until you hit a save point or use a save item. Sorry, a healing item. So here's your save point. Now, you can only use it to heal once, but you can use it to save as often as you want. We invited you lot to the party. As you can see, you're set upon by multiple opponents at once, and they don't stand around waiting to get hit. As in real life, they'll jump you. Now, this is the second difference. The more notable one. The first difference is that it's a bit more accessible, and there are more levels, more bosses, and more enemies added to the PS3 version, so it's a much more polished and complete game. It's got a slight lick of paint as well. Certain parts of certain levels have been removed completely, not because, you know, for any other reason, but the fact that they're ugly and they were pointless. And believe me, lots of fans complained. Surely the 360 can do better than that. That looks horrible. And it was just, you know, parts of those levels were tedious and unnecessary, so they removed them, along with one particular boss who was just a pain in the arse anyway. So he's gone. But lots more have been added, and lots of enemies have been added. And you've also got the possibility to play as 2 extra characters. You play as Rachel from the first game and Ayane. And they've got their own levels. I think they've got a couple of levels each. And yeah, they are superb. So, all in all, it's a much more complete package. Now, the other thing that's different, the more notable thing that did really annoy a few people, myself included when it was first announced. But now, I welcome it. And I'll show you what that is. First of all, it's to do with the gore. The amount of gore was definitely reduced, and but not really too badly. Now, there are spatters of blood as you slice enemies, but when you dismember them, you get purple mist. rather than gallons of blood that gushes forth and makes that squelchy sound like in the 360 version. And also the limbs that you slice off enemies don't remain on the ground, like, you know, that when there are arms and heads missing, they don't stay on the ground, they just vanish. But you can still decimate enemies, you can still slice them to pieces, and there's just a moderate amount of blood. Now they've changed the rating for this game. The 360 version was an 18, the PS3 version is a 15, to make it more accessible to a wider audience. And to be honest with you, because there's so much added to it and it's such a generous game that keeps on giving, that little bit of censorship I didn't mind. I hate censorships, really truly detest them, in particular when they cut movies. And that's why I always go for either the original version of the movie or the Blu-rays, which are always uncut. Lethal Weapon series springs to mind. Now you gain abilities and tutorials as you go through the game, in particular the first level, which is more of a tutorial level. And the rest of it I can't really spoil, but if you really want to get stuck into this game, I would really highly recommend it. If you have a PS3, or if you want to get one, start from the original Ninja Gaiden Sigma. You know, the first one came out on the... well, the first 3D one came out on the original Xbox. Then it was given the polish known as the Sigma version, and that came out on the PS3. But the US version is the one to go for because it has the decapitations. Again, they were censored in the UK version. You got the tutorial notes saying, if you lunge toward your enemy and swipe with your sword, you'll cut their head clean off, and it doesn't happen. And people did write into magazines saying, why is that not happening? The head isn't coming off. And then it was revealed because the UK version was censored. So I've got the US version of the first one. There is a third one, which I would recommend you get, the one called Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. The third one that came out, which was the non-Razor's Edge, had only 2 weapons, the sword and the scythe, which was downloadable as well. And the storyline made Ryu seem like more of an evil sod than a hero. He was just completely inhuman and nasty. But with the Razor's Edge version, they added many more weapons, because people kept complaining, where are all his cool weapons? So you got the scythe, you've got the twin katanas, you've got the single sword, you've got the staff, and I believe you've got the sickle with the chain and the weight. And the combat is amazing. There's also an easy mode, which is still hard, but you can't die. Your health gets down to about a quarter, but you can't die, which is great for novices. So anybody can play that game, and you get to play as Ayane, Rachel, and also you get to play as Kasumi from Dead or Alive as well. But that's only, I think, in multiplayer. But anyway, that's pretty much all I can share with you, because unfortunately, if I share too much, it'll spoil a truly great experience. Now, button mashers, beware, this is not the game for you. You can only play this game if you're skillful, and believe me, you will become skillful the more you play it. You don't have to sit down and memorize loads of attack buttons and sequences. It just happens as you play the game. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. And take care, and join me again for another review soon, which will be of Ridge Racer 7 on the PS3. And until then, you know where you stand with retro. Ciao, ciao.